is my writing. It made me a more critical person. And then the student added in almost a whisper, he also has the best PowerPoints. This is my fourth class with Dr. Mitchell, and I can say with confidence he's one of the best professors I've ever had. He challenges you to think critically and push boundaries, requires curriculum that is actually updated, and overall works to ensure you're successful. I can't think of enough for fostering an environment that is inclusive and safe for questions and discussion. These are the first words, student words. And these words, culled from student course evaluations in recent years, follow the heartfelt and positive testimonies from thousands of students who sat in Dr. Mitchell's classes during the course of his 28-year tenure at St. Anne's. But the students do not just sit. They used their voices and they listened. They analyzed and they argued. They debated and they collaborated. They saw their intellectual universe expanding and transcending. They were transformed. When Ennis served as a faculty co-leader of the study abroad program to Scotland in 2011, and then 3 years later in 2014, he facilitated the kind of experiential learning, transformational learning I wish I would have embarked on as an undergraduate student. And we all know that advising students, those one-on-one conversations, is sprinkled with transformational moments. How many students could one advise in 28 years? I think we know the answer, a lot. Transformation took place through other forms of mentoring. His students presented at Source, at events off campus, completed undergraduate theses, and later descended the hilltop to attend graduate school or go directly into the workforce. He provided his students with, Kenneth Burke said, equipment for living. What attracted me to join St. Edward's faculty was surely attracted Ennis to become one of the founding members of the communication department in 1993. The culture of student care, the setting of high academic expectations, the rejection of obviousness and indoctrination, the promotion of critical thinking and skepticism. As a trained rhetorician with a PhD in communication studies from the University of Kansas, it has taught its students to really understand how symbols operate, how rhetoric operates out in the open underneath the veneer of consciousness, to inform, to persuade, to celebrate, as a form of social control, as a means of dissent, and the promotion of the social good, all connected to our holy cross values and university mission. Ennis taught his students that it is communication, it is rhetoric, which makes us profoundly human, and he did this in his courses: rhetorical criticism, media communication, gender communication, political communication, perspectives on atheism, and many more. You know, I arrived toward the end of Ennis's time here, and I remember being struck by his deep intellect, his unflappable rhetorical precision, and his generosity. His generosity is boundless. It was felt by his colleagues in the communication department, across campus, by his students at the university, in the community. In fact, Ennis is one of the most generous individuals I've ever met. For example, in the summer of 2019, he spent some time in Scotland, came back, and gave me a copy of a graphic novel called Freedom Bound, Escaping Slavery in Scotland. Similar to the 1619 project in the U.S., Freedom Bound, which is written by a student in Scotland's secondary state education system, confronted that nation with a past it would rather forget. And we soon got into a spirited discussion about the implications of the book and realized we shared the same passion for the study of public memory, a concept perfectly captured in Christina Sharp's book, In the Wake on Blackness and Being, where she wrote, "The past that is not past reappears, always to rupture the present." Like all of his intellectual pursuits, whether it be secular studies, media reform, documentary filmmaking, political campaigns in Scotland, Ennis pursued his new public memory project with zeal, a project which examines Scotland's slavery, memory, and the transatlantic slave trade. Now, he presented part of his project to our public memory class in the fall of 2019. It was a master class in how you weave in history, theory, and the case study, film clips, and other visual delights. It was a master class on how to engage students, how to ask the tough questions. And you know that opening remark by that student? His PowerPoints was fabulous. No doubt we can think about this ceremony as a public memory event where the past meets the present. And as we all know, memory is partial. This afternoon is an example of this. I mean, how can you sum up someone's career in 5 minutes? You simply can't. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Ennis's service to the university. That would be a whole separate, very long speech. You know, words are never enough, but perhaps these words, these final words, student words, may provide a rhetorical rescue of sorts. One student wrote, "This class, media communication, taught me a lot of things, but it mostly taught me how little I know. Now I'm aware of how subtle and impactful communication can be. Now that I'm aware of not only my power, but that of others. It's easy to see how little I knew, but how confident I am about the world now." Ennis St. Edwards has been blessed by your presence. It's been an honor to be your colleague.